A funeral is being held today at the Mount Hebron Baptist Church on Charles Street for Dr. Bradley Ward, State Assemblyman, community activist, and minister of this church, who disappeared on June the 30th, 1974. His disappearance was recently resolved with the discovery of his body, which was buried in the backyard of the house in which he was raised. The cause of death was a gunshot to his head. The police investigation, closed due to lack of evidence in this case, has been reopened. But today, the Charles Street community, the civic leaders of Port Charles, and his family gather to mourn and to celebrate the life of Reverend Bradley Ward, who will be interred later at the Calvary Cemetery.
I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. O come, let us worship him in spirit and in truth. The Lord is my light and my salvation, of whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon me and learn of me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
Silver eagles are here.
What's that about?
Please seat it.
Quartermain, Baldwin, and Bolin, what are they doing here?
A gesture of respect to an old adversary?
Do you believe that?
On behalf of the Ward family, we welcome you to the Mount Hebron Church to celebrate the memory of our minister and leader, Dr. Bradley Ward. We will now have the eulogy by his son, Justice Ward.
I was for him.
My father. My father, Bradley Ward.
lay for 20 years in an unacknowledged grave, and no one knew. The earth that covered him knew. The trees that sheltered him knew. The roses planted by his mother's hand, which bloomed above him, knew, because they were fed by his body and his bones.
Yes. Yes.
His family did not know where he lay, or by whose hand or act he was brought there. But we will know.
That's right. That's right.
We will know.
We will.
For 20 years, no one of us who loved him could say with certainty, my son is dead, and I mourn him. My husband is dead, and I grieve. My father is dead and gone from me, and I cry at night because I will never see his face again. But now we know. And we are here today, finally, to lay him to rest with dignity and with peace.
Amen.
And we're here to remember him. And it's important that we remember him. And right that we do so. Because in a time and a place where there was injustice and divisiveness and apathy, he took responsibility. When there was injustice, he took it upon himself to make things fair. When there was hatred, he took it upon himself to bring people together. When there was apathy, he, moved by the Spirit, took that Spirit into this community, into this city, into this state, and he moved people. He moved them to hope, to understand their power, to a knowledge of what they could do for themselves and for others, that which had not been done. He took responsibility. And Bradley Ward made enemies of the men who had controlled the power and the money and the jobs and our children's education. Because in time, that power began to pass from them, and they were afraid. And he knew this, but he didn't look back, because he had taken responsibility. And he wasn't afraid, you see, because he had taken responsibility. He took responsibility, and he didn't care the cost. He didn't turn his back on the work, and he didn't hate those who opposed the work. He just went to the unions and got the jobs for those people who wanted to work. He went to the banks and he got the loans for those people who wanted housing and to start new businesses. He went to the school board and to the city council, and the school district lines were redrawn so that all of our children would have a fair chance at a good education. And when our public servants betrayed our trust, he took responsibility and he ran for office. And before his work was done, Bradley Ward was dead because he had taken responsibility.